And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's podcast this evening. We have a magnificent guest with us tonight, one who is going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration. And that is none other than the frontline soldier, believer, activist, family man, and just a good individual, none other than our brother Omar Ramadan Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam, my brother. Thank you for having me. And you gave me a lot of accolades there. Hope I can live up to that representation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. But brother Omar, we were connected on the basis of me doing a series on the life of our great big brother, affectionately known as the General Minister Abdul Karriem Muhammad. And when did you first meet him, sir?
Yes, sir. The general, my first brother Minister Abdul Muhammad, my first met him, he was Brother Linward. And I first saw him at when Minister was speaking at Friendship Baptist Church in he was either 80 or 8, I think it was 81. And I was a new coming in, and I seen this stern looking man with a green a military trench coat. And they said this man is gonna be Brother Linward X. And they said, this man is going to be the minister of New York. And I said, uh-oh. I said, this is going to be a problem because I like to joke around a little bit and stuff like that. And I seen that this man was a no-nonsense brother. And I was not going to be able to play around and joke around and have fun. He was serious about what he was doing. And when you looked at him, you knew this is the real deal right here. That's when I first met him.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. And at that event, okay, well then after that, when did you accept the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
A year after that, I got my ex
okay.
in his office, and I remember that specific day because I kept missing something. When it says that the sun is 93 million ways, the earth is 93 million miles away from the sun. I kept putting an extra word in there. He said, "Nope, brother, you go back and do it again." And they let me do it until I got it right. And that's when I got my ex, and he was there, right there, to salute me in, and it was a wonderful occasion. That would have been, I guess that was 81 or 82, late 80, early 82.
Beautiful.
Many years ago. Yes.
Praise be to Allah. And people are bear witness and showing you love already. Walaikum salam, Sister Naima, Brother Perry Jones, may Allah continue to bless you with success. Sister Sadia Thomas, walaikum salam. Sister Miriam, walaikum salam. Thank you all, everybody who's watching all around the world. Yes, sir. So once you got your ex, you accepted, how did your family and friends feel?
Well, my family was like amazed because I came from the street, and I was into some negativity, and I did a total turnaround once I heard the minister, and then once I seen the general and knew that we did a total to 360 all the way around.
Yes, sir.
Total transformation. I came in with a white van I had a white van with the side loud pipes on those loud mufflers. I had a gold chain. I had cowboy boots.
Okay.
And I did the total transformation from that. I bought me a nice little suit and white shirt, and then it was on and popping from that point on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, what part of are you in Queens? Brooklyn? Where were you?
Brooklyn. This is in Brooklyn. This is Eastern Parkway. 1110, the famous 1110 Eastern Parkway, where New York, where it all began. As far as our first mosque there, they were meeting. Before that, they were meeting at the McDonald's across the street, and before that, they were meeting at the Harlem State Office building, and so and a couple other spots up in the Bronx. But the 1110 Eastern Parkway, which is the home of the Boiler Room Crew, and also the home of the first number 7, the first mosque number 7C, we called it. At that time, it was Temple number 7C. It wasn't called the mosque. Mosque came later on, and but the Queen was in charge, and he put it all together. We had a great officer staff there. We had great brotherhood there, and of course, we had the great Boiler Room was born there. And our mission was to help the minister the best we can, build this nation back better than what it was before, and then some. Thank you, sir.
Well, praise due to Allah. that means so much to myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast. We salute you, sir, for taking that
Yes, sir.
step, that brave step, where there was no Nation of Islam to be thought of as what we see now, and you all were the foundational stones that we stand on your shoulders. We thank Allah for you and your sacrifice, and thank Allah for your family as well. We had the honor of interviewing Brother Kenneth, who was a part of the Boiler Crew, and he
That's
honored
right.
Brother
Yes.
Eric, his blood brother, and others. But what about the Boiler Crew made you all so close?
Well, we were all young in our 20s at that time, and we were coming up in Islam and learning and teaching, transforming our lives, trying to live a righteous life and do the work of building the nation and building the nation, and also being on security for the minister, being on security for the believers, keeping the mosque clean. And we just meshed as a brotherhood, because a few of the brothers didn't have jobs, so it was only a handful of us that had jobs. So it was a struggle all the way around. But we had to do so much, but we loved the brotherhood so much that we didn't care that we only had $10 or we only had $20 among all 8 of us, or what amount of us. We just know we was gonna do this work and we was gonna get it done some way, somehow, and that's what we did. And the general, Brother Karriem, he was the foundation of that. He put that love on us and make us how we felt about it, because the way he loved us, that love reflected in each and one of us, and that reflected back to the minister as well, and then some. Yes.
Thank 147 Savage out of Flint, Michigan. Thank you for always showing love, sir. We truly appreciate you. What advice would you give to the young believers who are accepting their own and being themselves for in this time period in 2025 about holding on to their faith? You accepted 1982 as 2025. You still bear witness there's no God but Allah. Muhammad is his messenger.
Right.
What advice would you give to the younger generations?
My advice to them is, the first thing you got to do is love one another. The bond that we had was so tight. See, you can't do this work unless you love yourself. Number one, first thing you gotta love yourself, and then you gotta love your brother as yourself, and then that love goes out into the community, and that makes it easier for you to do the work, and make it easier to stay in step with the minister, because the minister, all this is coming from the minister. From my beloved minister, to lose Farrakhan Muhammad, and that love that he's bringing down from the top is coming down and raining on us and making us have the same love that we have for our people. You can't do it if you don't love the people. You're not gonna be able to do the work, and you're not gonna be able to stay, and you're gonna drift away, and that's what's gonna happen. So you have to find your niche and whatever you want to do. You have to find your niche and whatever you want to do, and get in that niche and do something, and do be a contribution. Give a contribution to your nation. Make sure you're making something happen. Don't be there and be a big zero, okay? Even if you don't have money, you can come do this. You can come cook. You can come this. You can help do this. You can find something to do. Even if you don't have money, or if you can't come out or whatever, it's something that you can do for your nation. It's your nation. You got to help to build it.
Beautiful. Praise you so much. Excellent.
I'm doing a lot.
Yes, sir. And people, okay, thank you very much, Brother Majid, is saying peace. And people are tapping in from all around the world. Thank you all for showing love. My next question is the climate of New York City at that time. A lot of the people I've interviewed, including Brother Lenoir Jr., Sister Sharima, Minister Hawk, Dr. Aline, was talking about how it wasn't necessarily trending.
No, it was not friendly, but we had people that wanted us, but you had a lot of, but you had on the equal side, you had people that didn't want to hear nothing about the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Like now, the brothers can go out and sell 100 final calls or 200 final calls. Or at that time, we lucky we sold 25 because people was trying to hear it. They want to hear nothing about the nation. And then you had others who not only did not want to hear it, they challenged you. You had the Bilalis, which is the followers of Muhammad. You had the Ansarite community. You had other Black Hebrew Israelites. They all was against us. And so we had to be, steadfast and courageous, and be able to handle what we need to handle, because they always was threatening us as well with bodily harm. So we had to let them know try it, and we would put you under the grave. That's how we had a killer instinct. At that time, we was on a war footing. We was on a war footing. So, and you gotta study the teachings so your foundation be strong. But minister always encouraged to study the teaching, study the lessons, so your foundation is strong. So when you go out there and defend them verbally and physically, if you had to, you know, we saved that for later. But sometimes it got in front of us a little bit because at that time it just was a little rough out there, and we had to pay. We had to open, and that's what Brother Creamway is talking about. Sometimes we got to open up all that brush that's there. We got to open it up, make it easier for the believers coming behind us. You know, that make it a little easier right now. You know, so that's what had to be done.
Beautiful, and we appreciate you, sir. And thank you very much. And welcome, salam, Ilyas Thomas, Brother Javon Lewis. Peace to the guys, sir. And thank you to everybody who's watching from around the world. 1985, Madison Square Garden, Power at Last. The videos, you know, YouTube, everybody can see it. But for those of us who that was before our time and we weren't able to be there, what was it like leading up to the event? And
that was an amazing night. That was an amazing night. We the East Coast #7 leading the way. We and Brother Karriem was in shock. Well, at that time, Brother Khalid was the supreme captain, but he put Brother Karriem to run this part of it, the security, the front rush and the security outside, and the police there. You know, New York at that time had they had thousands of policemen out there. But we had thousands of FOI out there, and we had a line of men coming from all the way from the entrance of the block, Madison Square Garden, to the street. We had a line of men facing each other, and then it was one. I remember the one time it was one cop, one of the top brass cops. He wanted to go cut through the line, and our order was not to let anybody through that line. So that means we had to walk all the way like a block down to get through the line, and the officer that was with the top, he said, you let our officer through the line. And we said, no, you do your job and I'll do our job. He got to go to the end of the line. And the officer said, okay, the top brass, he said, okay. the general seen that, he said, that's right, brothers. That's right, brother. That's the way we do it, brother. You know? Don't back down. But he was the type of man that would say, he would not stand in the background. He said, brother, get back, brother. Get back, brother. I got this, brother. Move back. I got it. So he was the type of man that wanted to be right there in the front. And I seen him walk down. I seen him go up on cops and say, listen, we the best damn citizens you ever had in this city. You understand that? And I seen the cops back down. He didn't play. He didn't take no tea for the fever. He was hardcore all the way.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. And we're sending positive energy and prayer to his family and to his friends and the believers. Were you ever faced with fear? And if so, how did you overcome that fear?
I can't say. I don't remember any time that I was actually faced with fear per se. I mean, we had sometimes we had to do a couple of things that required a little extra courage. But I don't think you gotta pray, and you gotta pray now and ask Allah that when that moment comes, give you the courage to overcome whatever it is that you have to overcome. So I can't say really that I had any, when at that time, when you're in the spirit of the brotherhood, you didn't have no fear. You were fearless. You probably, we were crazy Muslims. I don't know if you heard the term. We were crazy Muslims. And we had a captain by the name of Brother Alpha Farrakhan, who was the son-in-law of the minister at the time, or previously. And he was a man. He was a real captain. He was a man that didn't play it as well. So we had a Brother Karriem, being the great administrator that he was and the great coordinator that he was. He gave us a wonderful lieutenant officer staff. Brother Alpha was the captain. We had Brother Shahi, Brother First Arthur Hicks. We had Brother Thomas, and then we had Brother Anthony. Now that's in the Karate Anthony. I forget his Muslim name now. So we had like an all-star staff of Brother Nathaniel Senior. We had an all-star staff of officers that each one of them specialized in their special way. Some of them had a calm demeanor, others had a little rougher demeanor. So we had them. Brother Karriem was able to put it together like a baseball lineup. So we had it. Everybody would spit a special position and do a special job, and it worked out perfectly. And same thing on the sister side as well.
Okay, well, can you let us know about the sister side? What was going on the sister side?
Well, the sisters, the sisters worked with the brothers. The sisters were in accord with the brothers. There was no rifts, and they respected the brothers. And brother Queen always said, brothers. He always encouraged the brothers to get married. Brothers get married, brother. You know, you see these wonderful sisters here. Brothers get married, and we at that time we had Sister Mina Sue was in the mosque
Okay.
from back in the day. I remember Sister Mina Sue. And we had a sister captain by the name of Trina in New York, and then it was Sister Dawn in Newark. Those were top-notch sisters. They were top-notch. They were, they didn't joke around. They did their job in a sweet way. When I say sweet way, not not in the negative sweet way, but they were nice and gentle, but yet still firm and did what they had to do. So the sisters were on point. They looked good and everything. So we loved them, and we secured them. We made sure that there was no problems with none of the sisters getting from point A to point B. A lot of sisters had to go on a train at that time. All of us didn't have cars. A lot of brothers and sisters got cars now. They moved up. The Muslims have moved up a little bit. The Muslims have moved up. So at the time, we had a lot of brothers and sisters were on the train. They would ride. And sometimes, they run into little incidents on the train. So we had to make sure that we didn't have to go down the subway and put somebody on the tracks and do whatever we had to do.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And people are showing love. Thank you to Brother Houston Boyd, Brother Jonathan X, Alaikum Salam. Praise be to Allah, Brother Alpha and Sister Evelyn with the bean pies. That's what Society of Thomas said. And the enemy's public, Brother Nasir says, Brother Joshua and his big brother Omar Ramadan, his captain. Praise be to Allah. People are just showing you nothing but love, sir. We also wanted to ask you, now Madison Square Garden is over, but during that same leading up to Madison Square Garden, there was the Jesse Jackson time period. How did that lead to?
Oh yeah, that was even rougher time because the Jews, that's when the Jews came along, and the Jews, what they were on our case, and I'm telling you, we was on war footing again with the Jews because they were calling for the minister's life. Death to Farrakhan, all types of stuff like that. And I remember we was in D.C., Washington, D.C., and we came down, Brother Karriem, and a few, about 30, 40 brothers. And Brother Khalid said, Brother Karriem, give me 10 brothers that can fight. And I was going to pick me. and Khalid said, Mr. Khalid, Brother Captain Khalid at that time, he said, he put us on posts outside where they posted and said, if they call for the minister's life tonight, pick their backsides. And them Jews, they did not say anything about the minister that night. We didn't play that at that time. I think now we may be a little bit more diplomatic, but at that time, because they were really trying to set the atmosphere for the murder of our minister, and we was not having it. And even a lot of the other white folks was against the minister at the time, because they didn't want Jesse. Jesse Jackson was like, who's this upstart Negro think he gonna be the president? You got to be kidding me, So he was his life was threatened. And the minister, as bold as the minister said, listen, don't come after Jesse, come get me. That's how the minister was. He said, come get me. Before you touch Jesse, come get me and see what Allah got for you. And the minister was serious about that. And we was back in, I remember we had all types of people that would try and throw monkey wrenches with Minister Farrakhan was speaking at a church in Brooklyn, Coney Island, Brooklyn. And there was a guy in the audience that kept interrupting the minister every time he would speak. Every time the minister was trying to speak, he would, Next thing I know, I see Brother Karriem grabbing this man. He's grabbing him out of the church seats, dragging him, and I guess the guy's mother said, "Leave my son alone." He's dragging him. We can't even get our hand in because Brother Karriem got him. We took him out and just threw him on the curb like a piece of garbage that he was. We didn't play at that time. We really did a lot. And even your father tell you the Secret Service wrote a letter to the nation thanking them for helping them with the security of Jesse Jackson because they couldn't control the crowd. So we did our job, and if we have to, we'll do it again. That's it.
Beautiful. Go ahead, you teaching, yes, sir. and people saying that's right, brother. Excellent. Welcome, salam. Thank you to everybody who was watching. Okay, well, we wanted to ask you, sir, what was going on with the training and the time period? Can we recapture that now with the way you all were moving in the 80s?
Well, the training, you know, our lieutenant then at that time is Lieutenant brother Anthony, who's your captain now in Chicago. She said, brothers, we gotta be able to fight. We gotta be able to take on whatever comes our way. Not only spiritually, but he meant physically, and all of us had to be, you know, we had to know the basic martial arts, you know, the rollouts and the kicks and the punches and stuff, you know.
Yes, sir.
I got that.
Yes,
I still got. I'm in my sleep, you know, doing rollouts and kicking, doing all these things because Brother Anthony drilled that into us. And then on FOI days, we would pair up and we would go out. First of all, we would jog. We would go out and do a little jogging and stuff in the street, and then we would come back and we say stick up your bow tie and your jacket. And we would kind of challenge each other a little bit, not to a certain degree, but we need sometimes if you're not doing anything, you know, you get a little rusty. So we had to kind of keep ourselves sharp, you know,
yes,
not roughing each other up, but, you know, keep ourselves, you know, we would sharpen each other. Men sharpen men and steel sharpen steel. And that's what we did. You know, we needed to know where everybody was at. So if you was out of shape, you know, we can't put you on a certain post. you can't.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, yeah, we had to see what you was working with a little bit, you know. So we had good training, and then we would train, not to put it given any seat, but we would train in security ministers. So we, you know, if you go a couple of times, we put holes on the walls on Eastern Parkway because, you know, we one brother would play like he was the minister, and then we had someone in the audience say, "Oh, it caused a distraction," and then we kind of tackle them and get the minister out. So we had to practice these things because we never knew what was going to happen, you know, and because we know that it was a female that stabbed Martin Luther. It was a church, one of his members that stabbed Martin Luther King, and we had a lot of incidents that happened in religious institutions. So we, you know, all the brothers, we had to search well. We didn't slack in that. You know, we trained, we studied, and we had nice dinner, bean soup dinners and bean pie dinners. We that was all part of it too, you know. And again, this all came. We had so many brothers that wanted to stay in the mosque late at night after the mosque meeting because the spirit there was so beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
and
sir.
It all emanated from the general because his heart, he had such a generous heart that love emanated from him that it carried on down through all the believers. You know, there was always one or two that was a little negative, but you know that didn't faze us because our love overshadowed any negativity that was out there.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Now, we often speak of Minister Abdul Karriem Muhammad of being on the rostrum and ministering a frontline soldier when he's in that mode. What was he like when he more lighter moments where he was just he didn't have the uniform on and he was just around you all in lighter moments?
Well, he had a lighter side. He was, but you know, the one thing he had, we always speak about how generous he was. He would see a brother and say, you know, let me just say this. At the end of the meeting on Sundays, he would ask, does anybody need food? Come to the office afterwards. Does anybody need their rent or whatever? Now, we couldn't do that too much because, you know, but he'd be serious about it. So, you know, nowadays, they actually rent. Nowadays, you'd be probably everybody in line for the rent. With the rent situation, high the rent is nowadays. But even back then, he would make sure that the believers were taken care of, you know. And then I seen a tear roll down his eye one time. I was amazed. We was in an office, and a sister had mental problems. She had 3 sons that she was not feeding, and we were trying to give the children food, and she said, "No, it's mice in there. There's something in there. They can't eat that." And I seen a tear roll down his. That's how his heart was. He said, Sister Trina, take these children. We're gonna take these children with us and take the sister somewhere so she can get some help. And he took people into his house that had psychological problems and cleaned them up. I seen him doing that on 2 or 3 times occasions that he would take people that not clean, meaning like they kind of fell away from themselves and kind of like, you know, they were not taking care of themselves. He would take them until they who does that? Who does that? Most people, you know, you're not coming to my house. You could, you know. Yeah. He would take them to his, fed them, cleaned them, and when they came out, they were much better. Crazy. So he did that, and although he was a hardcore minister and a general, he had a heart, and he had a big old heart. That's the main thing I'm trying to express today. I don't think there's anybody in the heart that had a bigger heart than our brother Minister Karriem, other than the minister, of course. But he's second to none in that regards. So that's why he was able to do the great work that he did. And when you're seeing him, you always seeing a lot of brothers with him. Not because they loved his spirit. They loved his spirit, and he was a galvanizer of the men. They felt strong being with him. If you was scared, you had fear, you got with the general, he didn't feel scared no more. So that's the type of spirit he emanated throughout the brotherhood. And of course, once it throughout the brotherhood, the sisters took on the same spirit too, because the sisters didn't play either. That's right. And he always tell the sisters, take off them shoes and with their high heels and hit them with the high heels. Take those keys out of your hand and break them with the keys. You know, had the babies throw the bottle at the.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
All praise to a lot of people will bear witness. And this is very, that's right. The general was very generous, a very caring brother. Walaikum salam, brother DJ G Smooth. Thank you very much for holding it down. And thank you to everybody who was in the comments. Okay, let me help this person out. Here we go. Okay, wonderful. There you go. We wanted to ask you about Dr. Khalid. What was it like being around him, sir?
Khalid?
Yes, sir.
He's another. Khalid was on the West Coast. We was on the East Coast. And we always challenge each other when it comes to Savior's Day drilling, and they would always beat us because they was, you know, they always was showboats. Yeah, they were showboaters. You know? They had the flair, you know. Khalid, he had the flair, you know. He always was sharp to the teeth. So he had a tremendous spirit. He did great work for the nation, and he was a bold black leader. Another fearless leader for the nation at that time too. He was also instrumental in those early days when the nation had, you know, we had to do a lot of fighting and, you know, roughing up a little bit. Khalid was there, and we missed our brother, and you know, may Allah be pleased with him.
Beautiful, yes, sir. May Allah be pleased with our brother. What was it like with the administrations that came after Minister Karriem? Like New York has been known as the heart, Mosque Number 7, so much pride, Brooklyn and Harlem. What was Minister Hafiz? Were you in the same time period as him?
Well, Hafiz came in a little in the ministry. He came in. Hafiz's part was he came in maybe a year or two after me.
Okay.
And he was not a boiler room crew member, although he wanted to be in a boiler room crew. but he would stay some nights with us. But you know, we had a kind of a little strict there. We couldn't let everybody stay. But he was one of those brothers that we knew he was going to be a minister because he loved to talk a lot. And he had a great administration as well, because he got what happened with him. They kept passing Brother Hafiz over. And then it's all right, let's give Hafiz the chance. When he got the chance to be head of New York, he did a tremendous job, and we hate to see him go. When God may Allah be pleased with him as well, but he did a tremendous job in holding New York down and bringing New York bring it up to another level. And he was a good minister, and we miss him. And he came in under us. He was trained under us. That's how he did under the general. You can't get away from the general, right? And he had a good spirit as well, and he had a generous heart as well. And you know, I remember searching him when he first came in, and he was like, we came in about matter of fact, when Hafiz came in at the time, his brother Kevin, he came out of the 5% Nation. They were giving him some static about coming into the mosque, saying, "Are you going to join them? This and that and the other." We had to go to his own projects and step to a few brothers over there. Not step to them, but we had to talk to them, let them know that he's with us now. y'all welcome to come with us and this and that and the other, and so we had to, we had to do that. So it was a lot of things that we did that that's come to mind at this time, and that you forget about. But the Hafiz was a steadfast brother. We loved him and we miss him, and he did great work for our beloved minister and rebuilding of the nation and upliftment of our people. May Allah be pleased with him.
May Allah be pleased. Our president, a lot of beautiful. We have a brief 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. We are grateful for every like, share, and subscription. Thank you all. We truly appreciate you all for every super chat, every anonymous cash app. Thank you all very much. You help the People's Podcast keep going. 1 second, we're coming right back to our illustrious guest, Brother Omar Ramadan Muhammad. 1 second. Here we go.
I see that shout out.
If you need that, the Naima Stay On Point Dance Academy. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country. Sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me children's book and coloring book. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ. My two books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon. There we go. Right back to our brother. And would you all please let us know which city you are watching from? And if you have any guest suggestions, by all means, please put those in the comments. Thank you very much. Yes, sir. If you could say your favorite memory with Minister Abdul Karriem Muhammad, what was it, sir?
Say that again. I'm sorry, I missed your question.
Your favorite memory with Minister Abdul Karriem Muhammad?
My favorite memories, it was a whole lot of them, but we were having an East Coast Regional FOI meeting.
Okay.
I think it was a Saturday. We tapped FOI on Saturday, and we had maybe seemed like 1,000 brothers in there up on Eastern Parkway, all lined up, and Brother Karriem was going up to speak, and someone else was speaking before him, and so they brought him on, and as he was going up, he just broke into a full sprint up to the front, and left the brothers that was securing left them behind. And he went up there and started and just pure fire. Had the brothers ready to go out and sell thousands of calls. That was my first, one of my greatest moment, one of the greatest moments.
Memory.
And then memories. And a couple of times we had a minister came when Brother Farrakhan gave Brother Karriem his name. He was the first one to get his holy name, if I can remember correctly. He was the first one. So he said, Brother Lenoir, come out of that office. But he was not in the office. He was on the roster. So, and so he gave him his name, Brother Karriem, because Karriem means generous. And he said you were the first one to get your name. That was another good moment. And then another moment, I'm going to tell you a little story. We had, in the early 80s, we had Minister Farrakhan came to New York to listen to the problems of the believers at that time, or some of the people that didn't agree with the administration or whatever that he had put there. And so it was a Wednesday night, I think it was. And he stayed all night, listening to the believers, their problems and their issues or whatever. And I was on security that night. Brother Karriem was in the office, and Brother Alpha Farrakhan was in the office. And me and Brother Eric, who just recently passed away, we was on security outside that door. And we heard a scuffle inside there. And I went in, I busted inside the office. Alpha has this lady, it was a crazy woman, another bag woman. I shouldn't call her a bag woman, but she said she had a gift for the minister, but she wanted the minister to sign for it. The minister said, well, if you want something, you want to give me something, I'll take it, but I'm not signing for anything. People are crazy, So she was tussling and tussling. And I went to grab her. Brother Karriem said, Brother Orlando, no! Because she was going to be, in my mind, my vision, he was going out that window. We always had a second floor window. And Brother Karriem says, Brother Orlando, no! So we took out the regular down the steps and left on the sidewalk where she should be, But I'm just saying his spirit. And at that time, the minister said, brother, who's that Brother Orlando? I like that brother. Those were some good old days. We had little issues and, little skirmishes and things of that nature, but it was fun, And that's one thing that Brother Karriem said. He said, make hard work seem like child's play. Enjoy it while you're working. Enjoy it while you're out there selling your Final Call newspaper. Enjoy it while you're out there cleaning this or doing that. whatever you're doing it, and the time will go by faster. And the time that we had him among us it went by so quick. You know, it was always good. We go to this house and we stay there all night long. And my wife used to say, I'm not gonna spend my whole summer in Brother Queen back in Brother Queen's backyard. Because that's what we did. You know, after the meeting, we go and talk about the nation and helping to build the nation, what else we can do to help the minister, and what else we can do to help the community at that time, you know, New York or Plainfield. And that's all we did. We ate, drank, and smoked. I didn't say smoked. Islam, the teaching of Muhammad, and we didn't smoke. Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. Now, speaking of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, especially during that time period in New York, hip hop was being born and being, just really flourishing and about to take off and cross over and help, define what culture really was. How important was the element of hip hop as well as the teachings to that environment?
Well, we had a few rappers that came through the doors. Public Enemy was with us at that time, and a few other, I think a few other rappers that came at that time, and they joined with us in helping the community and building back, because at that time hip hop was a little more. It was not as raunchy and crazy as it is now. The brothers were putting science and upliftment in their rap delivery. So,
yes,
so we welcomed them with open arms, and we had a good relationship with them. We didn't have no beef with them. And I think when Hafiz became the minister, he was on one of the hip hop stations every morning, and he was able to talk to the common public about the teachings and how to manage their lives and things of that nature. He did a great job with that, and that was after our administration. But see, so you got to be good in your administration with what's needed at that time. So Hafiz picked up the ball at that time and he ran with it, and he's very effective in dealing with the brothers and sisters in the rap community, in the rap game. And we had no issues with them, and we love them, and we will continue to do work with them as well.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. Yes. Now you spoke of and continue to speak of your wife and the brothers being married. How important has your wife been to your development as a man and sticking by you and you sticking by her all these years?
She's been very important. She's part of my foundation, and she helped me to grow in many respects. I mean, we have 6 wonderful children, and we've been married for a long time. Matter of fact, Brother Queen married us in a triple wedding in 1983. Don't tell nobody, but 83. I'm telling the whole world.
Yes, sir.
So I don't know how many years that is, but we're still married by Allah's grace. And every now and then she misbehaves, but we stay with it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The general gave us good guidance, and he would the general was like a mentor as well. He was just like a firebrand, just we need a black arm, but he would tell you how to act at home and abroad.
Yes, sir.
He would tell the brothers how to be civilized in the pursuit of happiness, not be savage. How to go to the restaurant and behave yourself and not like savage, not going, you go to a buffet, he said, the brothers don't go to the buffet and put piles of food on top of your plate and piles, and then you can't even control it. He said, you can always go back to seconds. But he said things like that to teach you how to sit properly, and how to, conduct yourself. You don't go in people's houses and just start reading their books and magazines and mess with, you don't go to people's houses unannounced. All these things you learn, proper etiquette that, the average, cat don't know. Even if you have a father, sometimes your father, don't know. I mean, I had a good father. I have a good father. But Brother Queen was like another father on another level. You understand what I'm saying? So, and a lot of brothers who came to the mosque, they didn't have no fathers at period. So they were learning how to be men. So not only did he teach us how to be men, he taught us how to be better men amongst men. That's what he taught us, and that's what we appreciate for him and we're gonna remember him for all that he did.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful, and people bear witness. Walaikum salam, Sister Arabia. Marlene Davis, ASA from Newark, New Jersey. Yes, sir, brother. Rakim. People were saying Rakim was a part of the movement in the beginning. Early Sunday mornings. Hot 97 with Minister Hafiz would be on there with Ed Lover. Yes, sir. I've always had a lot of fun traveling and soldiering with Brother Omar Ramadan. Thank you very much. This is Brother Nasir saying this. Is Society of Thomas says, praise be to the wife of Brother Omar, Sister Gina Muhammad. Beautiful. Okay, people shouting your wife out as well.
That's her.
Yes, sir. What advice would you give to future fathers? If you have 6 children, what advice would you give to future fathers?
Well, my advice is to work hard and secure your family. Be a good example. And that's about it. You have to think about what you're doing because your children are watching you. So and you want to make sure that you secure your home, and give them a good start, the best you can. And if they see you doing the best you can, that's all you can do. So I have 6 children: Sadia, Elias, Isaiah, Ishmael, Arabia, Mecca. 6 by Allah's grace.
Yes, praise be to Allah. People are all in the comments showing your wife nothing but love. And they saying father on a spiritual level. Yes, sir. It takes an army. We were taught that. Beautiful.
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to ask you, what type of music do you enjoy listening to, sir?
Me? I like a little oldest. I like Michael Jackson. The older Michael Jackson 5. I'll Be There, Got to Be There, Never Can Say Goodbye. I like gospel music very much so, because that's my father's a Baptist preacher, believe it or not.
Okay, yes, sir.
But when you listen to gospel music, and they're talking about Jesus, you know who the real Jesus is, so you can relate to it much more, and it can help you, give you some relief and spiritual upliftment as well. When sometimes when you're down, you can listen to these songs that help to pick you up, and in those songs, it will help our foreparents get through the storms that they went through back in the day.
Yes, sir.
You can feel it coming through. You can feel that struggle coming up through those songs, and it helps you to deal with your little struggles that you're dealing with today. Because your struggle that you're dealing with today were nowhere in comparison to what they had to deal with back then. So those songs help me a lot. And when they talking about Jesus, I know who Jesus is. So, and I know who the Christ is. So I'm not thinking about no white man hanging up on some wall, on some cross. We know who the Christ is, and we know who God is. Amen.
Amen. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Beautiful. Yes, sir. I agree.
Yes, sir.
I always tell people, I listen to all.
And Brother Joshua, you're doing a tremendous job. It's good that you pick up this mantle. Your father was a great worker for the nation. And I remember when we first started with them, and they had that nice gray Lincoln Continental. Now, you probably wasn't around. You probably wasn't even born back then. But they had a nice Lincoln Town car. They had a nice car,
Okay.
And they would see they would always come to New York in all our events. And then they picked him and Brother Akil.
Yes, sir.
They picked up the mantle and secured him, because the minister, everybody couldn't travel with the minister because, number one, they didn't have the finances. Number two, they didn't know what they was doing, and number three, they just didn't have the time to do it. So these Brother Akil and Brother William Sharif, your father, they picked up that mantle, and they formed that security team and took it to another level, and made it something to be appreciated and well looked at today, to a very professional security team. That's what they did. We was there in the beginning. We were a little rough around the edges, but they kind of perfected,
Yes, sir.
So we.
Yes, sir. Brother Omar, do you ever come to Atlanta?
I haven't been to Atlanta in about 10 years. My brother had a home down there, and I said I was going to come visit him and see some of the believers, because all the believers that were in New York, they moved down there. So I said I was gonna come down there and visit and see some of the believers down there, Brother Xavier,
Yes,
X-Man,
sir.
Brother Ken FX Kelly, and Sister Sharima, brother Brother Kelsang, Brother Nathaniel Jr. So many brothers, that came through there, and that's down there now. Adrian. And Sister Adrian and a few other sisters and brothers. Sister Barbara, lawyer, Emmanuel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so there's so many of them. And I'm gonna come through and visit the mosque. I understand I got a new mosque. I got a new mosque here with a new restaurant and something of that nature.
Yes, sir.
If you want to invite me there as a guest, I can make it down there.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, we got to break bread. I would love to hear more stories.
Yes, sir.
In person with
Absolutely.
You, get some advice from you. We have one more question for you, sir. What would you like your legacy to be, sir?
Well, that's a good question. But I would just say I just want to be my legacy is a top-notch brother, a top-notch soldier. A brother that would go above and beyond the call of duty. So when the minister asks for this, we give him a little bit more.
Yes,
extra, little extra, put a little icing on top of the cake.
Yes, sir.
That's the way the general trained us. The general said we need. If the minister said we need 10,000, we get 20,000. A little extra. So I like to be a brother that's a brother to a brother. At all expenses. That's we'll risk life and limb, help each other out, and that's what we got to do. We say we love the minister, but the minister wants us to love one another.
Yes, sir.
And if we do that, we will have a better nation, and we'll have a bigger nation as well.
That's powerful. Okay, well, that was going to be the last question. We got one more. Do you ever plan on going into the ministry?
No.
No.
That's not. Well, listen.
Never say never.
I won't say never, but I've thought about it, but I don't think that's my at this present moment. I don't think that's my calling. But it requires a lot of study, which I do study, but it requires you got so many brothers there that are very efficient with the teachings and can speak well and all of that. So I'd rather do something else right now, but you never know. You may be pushed into it, not of your own accord. But I never thought about it like that. I think I can help lead the men into battle. And certain things of that nature. But I don't know if I want to be in the ministry. But that's it could happen, but I don't think so. If Allah will it will be.
Praise be to Allah. Well, you sound very much like a minister. Yes,
really?
Sir.
You think so?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes, sir. If people are bear witness says true, Brother Omar Orlando, that's you. All praises to Allah. I mean, yes, sir. People just bear witness. Sister Marlene Davis Ali was there since May 18th, 1980 at City College. Sister Marlene, can you reach out to me on social media so we can interview you as well? And they said, Brother Omar Ramadan is a trainer of men, a captain to his very being. Okay, yes, sir.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
I was the captain on the playing field for a while with them brothers, and there was a special group of brothers out there. Me and the brother Mark X Henry and Brother Khalid was Brother Gary and Brother Joshua, who was one of my top soldiers. Got a few restaurants in Plainfield, New Jersey. When you come to Plainfield, you can visit his restaurants. Amazing taste.
Yes, sir.
And Brother Nasir and Brother Charles in New Brunswick now. And we got a lot of brothers there that are doing great things, great works in the nation right now. And and so many brothers, that are doing their thing, through the teachings of Omar Ramadan. We thank you a lot much for that.
Praise to Allah. Yes, sir. Well, we are honored that you would take time out of your busy schedule to speak with us, and I look forward to meeting you. We appreciate your spirit, sir. Appreciate your family. Please thank them, your children, and everyone who was watching. This has been great. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off with the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. It means everything to us. Thank you.